Okay, I get asked all the time, okay, Danny, we see what you do competition. What do you carry? This is how I carry the majority of the time. So if you're in Arizona, you see me out in public, I've got this. Not a big secret, right? So it is what it is. I'm going to show you why I carry it like this and how the other ways are that I carry. Let's get into it. Shooter, make ready. Are you ready? Stand by. So why do I carry like this? Well, this took away all my excuses. This is, I call it my purse. I have this set up in a secure spot in my house, and if I'm gonna go somewhere, my wallet, my keys, everything are right here. So if I'm going to leave the house, my truck keys are in here. I have to make the conscious decision to leave my gun behind if I'm going somewhere. I would rather that be the decision. I'm deciding to leave it rather than deciding to take it. So this goes with me almost everywhere I go. And that took away all my excuse to not have a firearm with me at all times. And this is my, I've had several of these bags. This is my favorite. They did not send this to me. I purchased this with my own money. This is the Savior Obscura bag. It just launched from Savior. I've got a bunch of their other bags. And so when they launched this at SHOT Show, I knew I had to get my hands on one. This is a great bag. It fits really nice. It's got a good shoulder pad. And it has a bunch of different deployment options. For me, I don't have little kids around and I'm not super worried about it, so I keep the optimal one there for me all the time. I just grab that handle and off it goes. So let's see how she runs. It's off, out, in place, and place. It'll run any kind of really any kind of holster you want. A Velcro back holster fits really good, but they've got a strap in there that you can put it on as well. So this is the most common way that I carry. It's right there. It's pretty quick, easy to deploy, and right here secure on my person. So I'm happy with this as being my primary way to carry. Now I have other things as well. Okay, as I went through and edited this video, I hadn't put any visuals of my other forms of carry on, and I figured it just didn't make sense me talking them through, so I'm going to share them right here. So there's a couple different ways you can carry on the waist, and the most common is appendix carry. Now, for a big guy like me, as I'm walking around the store, or walking any places, if I'm going to be out on my feet a lot of the day or for a few hours or whatever, that's comfortable. I'm totally fine. This is a comfortable way to carry. If I'm sitting in my truck for a while, that gets really uncomfortable because I've got a gut, but it digs in. It's not as comfortable to carry. So I do think this is probably the fastest way to carry, but there's just an appendix, right? Really easy way to deploy a gun. Very quick, easy to see what you're doing, putting it back, good to go. Another one is like with a holster like this one. Also have a backup mag, so that's kind of nice. So it's a very convenient way to carry under the right circumstances for a guy like me. For this kind of carry especially, I'm a Glock guy. I like that a Glock goes off every single time I pull the trigger and only when I pull the trigger. Kind of nice. So that's what I typically carry, especially when I'm carrying an appendix. Now, there is a device that I think is pretty cool. There's a back plate. What do they call it? They call it like it's a striker control device. So essentially what that is, it's a back plate that goes on here that if you have that back plate depressed and pushed in, when it's not, it sticks out a little funny. It honestly looks a little bit funky if you've never seen one before, but you can push in on it and it cannot go off. Even if the trigger was pulled, that gun cannot fire. So what a lot of guys do that have that, they'll push that back plate down and then stow their gun, and there's no risk of it firing as you're putting that gun away. So kind of a cool safety device. I think they're made by a company, Langdon Tactical. Langdon Tactical makes the striker control device, and it's kind of a cool thing. I know they've got them for Glocks. I don't think they have one for the Gen 6 yet, but I know they've got them for Gen 1 through 5 on the Glocks, and then I think they've even got them for Springfield and anyways. And so having that extra safety device on there is kind of a cool thing if you're going to be carrying an appendix like that. The other way that I carry when it's around my waist is I have one of the Vanish holsters. And I really like the Vanish holster because I can shift the position that I'm carrying. So I could carry appendix in the Vanish holster, or I can, as I have it here, carry it on the side. Now, The Vanish holster is an elastic holster that goes around my waist, sort of like a supporter, a back brace. So it's just elastic, and then I can position the gun wherever is comfortable for me to be carrying it. And again, it's a lift of the shirt, but I can put it anywhere on my belt that I like, and I've got immediate access to the gun. Right? One other advantage of something like the Vanish holster that's not attached to my belt or to my pants is one that people don't like to talk about because it's uncomfortable, but here's an advantage. If I am out and about and I have to go to the bathroom, especially if I have to sit down somewhere, if you know what I'm saying, the Appendix carries a pain in the butt for that, right? I have to do one of two uncomfortable things. I have to have it where it can be visible underneath the stall, which sucks. Or I can remove it, set it down, or put it in my pants. I can take it off and put it somewhere else. I've seen guys in the bathroom, and I hear them, wrestling with it. I'm in Arizona, everybody carries. So, but I've seen it where guys are taking their gun off and setting it down on the little shelf that's in the stall. Guys, I've walked out and left my cell phone sitting in places like that. I am not excited about taking my gun off and putting it down outside of my absolute immediate control in a public place and forget that I put it there. So not something I like to do, not something I'd recommend you do. So having the Vanish holster does help me in those situations. So if I ever have to do that, this can slide up wherever I want. I can do anything I want with my belt line, and my gun's just sitting higher, but I can do anything that's necessary and I don't have to worry about it. I really like the Vanish holster for convenience and comfort. The Vanish holster has a couple of things that I'll point out about it. First of all, the back of the holster itself here is very silky, soft. It's very comfortable. It does not chafe at all. My one complaint for them that I don't understand is the way this goes around your waist. This piece here is facing your body and this is the abrasive side, right? That's the hook side of the Velcro. And this is the nice soft fuzzy side. I wish they had reversed which way these were facing, because if you buckle this thing and you offset it like this is really abrasive and irritating for your skin right here. So you have to make sure when you're buckling this that you line it up just right. But if you do that, it's an extremely comfortable and convenient holster. And then finally, kind of the bag, Appendix, Vanish. If I'm in a situation where I can't carry my bag and I need to have my shirt tucked in, for instance, I can still wear the Vanish with a shirt tucked in. It's obviously just much deeper concealment, but that's a doable thing. Baggy shirt, a little bit untucked, and I can have the Vanish underneath that. No one would ever know. But most of the time, if I have to tuck my shirt in for an event or whatever, that's when I go to the pocket concealment. Now, this is my little Glock 43. It's a tiny little pocket-sized 9mm. This is the holster that I have for that. Gun fits right in there, slides right into my front pocket, and if I'm needing something just so that I know I'm carrying, this is the one that I can grab that, hey, it's easy to drop in my pocket, and off I go, and all my excuses are eliminated. I can't carry the bag, I have my shirt tucked in, I can always drop this in my pocket. So here's a quick look at my pocket carry holster, and then just to improve the grip with my big hands on this tiny little gun, I've got that Hogue grip on there that just gives me a little extra purchase on there. So those are my ways. Let's go back out to me on the range. At all. So I carry in a variety of ways. This is the one that I know I'm carrying every single time, every single day. Makes it real easy. So that's it. That's how I carry concealed. Find you a way that works for you, and just make sure you stay strapped. Why not? If you live in a state like Arizona that's a fully free state, unlike some other ones, I have that option. For those of you that live in places like California and New York, I don't know how you do it, man. Best of luck to you. Praying for you. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.